Ladies and gentlemen, samurai, welcome to another episode of No Holds Barred, our sort of thoughts videos we do at the end of our journeys here. Well, at the end of the game. I call them journeys, that's just a thing I do. Anyway, yes, welcome to what is quite sad, for me at least, sadly, is the last No Holds Barred I'll do for the Outer Worlds. We have just wrapped up the last DLC. Murder on Eridanos. Well, at least the last story DLC. I don't know if there's any more DLC coming out for the game, but either way, this is the last story DLC. This is probably the last time that I will ever play the Outer Worlds on the channel, at least until the next game, hopefully the next game, comes out. So, thoughts. Well, base game is still absolutely fantastic. Graphics, still fantastic. Soundtrack, you can hear it in the background, still absolutely fantastic. Characters are brilliant. The story is amazingly written. It just ticks all the boxes for me. The Outer Worlds as a whole has become the bar by which I judge most RPGs. It's just one that immediately ingrained itself in my heart, and I just love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. But how does the DLC, the second DLC, hold up? Well, I'm not going over all the graphics and stuff. That's all in the original thoughts video for the Outer Worlds. The main kicker here is the story. It's your traditional whodunit. Halcyon Helen, one of the great Ava Wave stars of our time, has been murdered at a press event for the release of a new vodka, Rizzo's Spectrum Brown, which contains a little parasitic shrimp thing in the bottom of it. That's no major spoiler, by the way. Literally, you see it plastered on all of the loading screens. A bottle of Spectrum Brown with a little shrimp sluggy thing in the bottom of it. But that's neither here nor there. She's been murdered at this press release for this disgusting looking bottle of vodka, and you've been called in, for some inexplicable reason, as an inspector to investigate the murder and try and figure out who killed her, which takes you on a romp through the atmospheric complex of Eridanos, which basically a bunch of rocks with large engines strapped to them flying around through the atmosphere of a gas giant. Beautiful set piece, by the way. Absolutely beautiful world. You can see the planet's rings above your head when you look up, and you can just see all the storms in the background. It's an amazing setting. And sometimes I did just stop, not sometimes, occasionally, very rarely I stopped, but as you walk across the bridges that interconnect each of the little islands, you can see the engines and all the things, the graphics. Graphically, it's a beautiful, brilliant, amazing place. You explore the orchard, you can explore a wilderness exploitation reserve, and you can explore all sorts of places, and it's a fairly decent-sized part of the world they've added in this DLC. The story, I won't go into spoilers, because obviously who wants to have a whodunit spoiled, but my recommendation, as always, 100%. Go for every one of the missions. Talk to everyone you can. You will eventually end up with all the suspects, and then you will end up scratching your head. Maybe not. At least for me personally, as we went through it, and even chat will attest, I went through a bunch of theories on, what about this? And, they could be, but at the same time, they don't strike me as that person. They seem like they were set up, etc., etc., etc. It's a lot of fun trying to guess who the final killer murderer was. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. As always, the characters are fantastically written. The humor is really on point. It's sort of like that. It's that sort of Douglas Adams Hitchhikers-esque sort of humor, which just to me it's just my sort of thing. I absolutely adore it. It's brilliant. It's snarky, and it's got a lot of sarcasm, and but there are also some quite obvious jokes, and it's just brilliant. Companions, as always, fantastic. My recommendation for at least one, just keep Ellie with you, because one of the suspects, you have what an absolutely amazing set of dialogue between playing good cop, bad cop with Ellie, and it was fantastic. I loved it. Sorry, I keep saying fantastic a lot, but that's the first thing that comes to my mind in all instances with this DLC. It's just fantastic. Music-wise, come to think of it, I don't think there was much music that actually played, so I'm sorry, I just get caught up in the opening soundtrack. There are soundtracks and there are music and there are musical bits, but there's also a lot of ambience going on, so there's always that. And of course, there's the weapons. I've got to mention the weapons. One, there is an unlockable weapon, and it is basically a vodka-powered Gatling gun, and it has easily become my favourite gun in the game. Two, both of my favourite guns in this game now. Oh, okay, I've got 3 favourite guns. I've got several favourite guns, but 2 of them are the Gatling gun, and I'm not going to spoil the other one, but it's basically a debuff gun. You have unlimited ammo, but by hitting reload, you can change whether you remove a character, whether you debuff armor, debuff speed, or you apply a poison on the enemy. Which against tougher, if you can manage, I found it really difficult to try and work it into my play style, especially after getting the Gatling gun. But if you can work out how to balance it properly, it can be an exceedingly powerful weapon. Also, I was playing on hard mode, so there's also that side thing to it. Plenty of side stories, plenty of side missions to get through, to crack on with, so as always, I highly recommend doing 100% run, well, at least 100% mission run. Don't go out, you don't need to go after all the achievements. I can't, I'm on the Epic, I bought this on the Epic store when it first came out. I don't think they've got trophies yet, but there's no achievements I've got. But I did explore everywhere on the map. I found all the points of interest as far as I can tell. I completed every side mission I could find. As always, it was a blast, and I absolutely love it, and it's fantastic. And then just to wrap everything up in a nice little bow, we redid the end of the game. We took on the Tartarus complex, we faced against the board, and we have seen the endings. And the endings for both DLCs, because I didn't watch the endings for Peril on Gorgon when we played it. Both endings are brilliant. Both endings are brilliant, at least the ones that I got. Your mileage may vary depending on your playstyle. I think that's everything. I've gushed about that. There's no point going into the baseline gameplay or everything, because it's still the same beautiful, amazing gameplay from the original Outer Worlds. As I say that, I make it sound like it's a perfect game. It's not a perfect game. No game is perfect. You say a game is perfect and I will just no. But it isn't it's a fantastic game. The base game is still brilliant, and therefore all the mechanics tie in very nicely to the Outer Worlds. A bit of me is quite sad to see the end of this game, to see our journey into the Outer Worlds conclude, but you know what? It opens up the doors to the next game. Snake is a perfect game. Well, technically Tetris could also be argued as a perfect game. Sorry, I'm now arguing with chat. Thoughts video. So with that, I say arguing. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Yes, that is the Outer Worlds. I can't recommend the base game enough. I can recommend Murder on Eridanos slightly more than Peril on Gorgon. Murder on Eridanos to me is just a pinnacle of DLC. It's just maybe it's bias because I love the Outer Worlds and I love a good whodunit. To me, it was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. But anyway, those are just my thoughts on the game. Hopefully I've given you some insight amongst all of my random ramblings and saying the word fantastic 562 times. But I shall leave it there. And I say I shall leave it there. I'll try and leave it there, but something will probably spring into mind. So before that happens, hopefully this proved useful to you. Hopefully I will see you on the channel sometime in the future. If you enjoyed this, usual affair, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, you know the drill. I think you've probably been on YouTube long enough to see that, and if not, well, welcome to YouTube. Anyway, with that said and done, to each and every one of you, thank you for joining me for this thoughts video, and wherever it is around this whole wide world you are, may you all have a beautiful evening, morning, or afternoon. Hopefully I'll see you on the channel, on the Twitch channel in future, and until then, Vortex awaits, and I'll see you all next time.